Welcome back. If you've ever felt completely exhausted by the constant, non-stop chatter in your own head, or just totally overwhelmed by the crazy pace of modern life, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into a really powerful explainer of one of the most influential spiritual texts out there, Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. So, let's jump right in.
So, why do we spend our entire lives trapped in the past or the future? I mean, it's a universal feeling, right? We're just constantly replaying past regrets or stressing out about future anxieties. And the core problem we all face here is our deep, completely unconscious identification with the mind. We literally believe that we are that constant stream of chatter in our heads.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today's discussion. 1. Trapped in the mind. 2. Ego and the pain body. 3. Becoming the silent watcher. And 4. Practical steps to presence.
Section 1. Trapped in the mind.
Now, the foundational message of The Power of Now is pretty mind-bending. It argues that true peace actually requires us to transcend the ego. Basically, all our emotional problems, our anxieties, our neuroses, they are deeply rooted in this false belief that we are the voice inside our heads. To actually find some clarity, we have to realize that this voice is just a tool. It's an instrument, not our true identity.
Section 2. Ego and the pain body. This is where Tolle introduces a really fascinating concept that he calls the pain body. You can think of it as a sort of semi-autonomous entity made entirely of old, unprocessed emotional pain. Basically, when you go through intense emotional pain and don't fully process it, it leaves behind a residue. And that residue merges into this kind of invisible parasite. It just lies dormant inside you until something triggers it, and then it wakes up specifically to seek out conflict and drama. Because, well, negative energy is its food source.
And we aren't just talking about abstract mysticism here either. If we bridge this spiritual concept over to clinical psychology, Tolle's pain body maps perfectly onto what neuroscientists actually call an amygdala hijack. When a current situation mimics a past trauma, your brain's emotional center just floods that whole system with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. So those physical imprints of trauma trigger a very real biological response in the exact same way Tolle describes the pain body waking up to feed.
Let's look at how this actually plays out in real life, in this symbiotic loop between the ego and the pain body. Say a friend doesn't text you back. Okay, that's just a neutral trigger. But immediately, your ego supplies a story. They don't respect me. I'm being abandoned, right? Then the pain body reacts, flooding your system with anxiety and anger. And this intense emotion just fuels even more toxic thoughts, which generate even more painful emotions. As long as you believe the story your mind is telling you, you are completely trapped in this loop.
Section 3. Becoming the silent watcher.
Consider this incredibly powerful lyric from Pink Floyd. There's someone in my head, but it's not me. It's wild, but researchers studying the neurocognitive side of presence actually use this exact lyric to poetically introduce the split between that egoic tormentor and the true witnessing self. The someone in your head is that intrusive thought entity, the ego. The me is the silent witnessing consciousness. Realizing that you are the observer and not the voice itself is literally the first step to freedom.
And the data backs this up. When researchers observe advanced mindfulness practitioners, they see a measurable decrease in the default mode network. That's the part of the brain responsible for self-referential rumination, basically the ego's playground. Simultaneously, attentional networks increase, and overall mental chaos is significantly reduced. So practicing presence literally rewires the physical brain to operate with way less interference.
This becomes absolutely crucial when we look at our relationships. I mean, what happens when two people with active pain bodies collide? Think of a heated argument where you suddenly bring up things from 5 years ago, or even aggressive road rage incidents. The pain bodies are literally feeding off each other's drama. But if you can maintain a non-reactive presence, if you just refuse to take the bait and simply observe, you actually starve the other person's pain body of the fuel it desperately needs to survive. It's a total game changer.
Section 4. Practical steps to presence.
So, the big question, how do we actually dissolve this pain body? Well, here's a 4-step process. First, catch it awakening. Notice that sudden tight knot in your stomach. Second, cut the link between the emotion and the thought. Do not let your mind build a dramatic story around the feeling. Third, become the silent watcher. Just observe the anger or sadness without judging it. And fourth,
Just allow it to be there. You see, you cannot destroy the pain body with sheer willpower. You dissolve it through conscious, non-judgmental awareness.
Now, to be fair, it's definitely worth considering a different perspective here. Some critics argue that Tolle relies a bit too heavily on biological explanations for our suffering. They point out that framing the crazy monkey mind purely as ancient survival programming kind of overlooks the massive role of socio-cultural forces. Things like modern consumerism, constant smartphone algorithms, and stressful societal structures. Those play a massive role in driving our collective anxiety today.
There's also a fascinating philosophical tension in the text itself. Tolle heavily advocates for total surrender, telling readers to completely accept what is in the present moment. Yet elsewhere, he strictly instructs readers, do not pollute your beautiful, radiant inner being with negativity. Which really begs the question, if someone is truly surrendering to what is without any judgment, how can they simultaneously actively reject negativity? It's an interesting contradiction to chew on.
But returning to our actionable toolkit, how do we actually practice this awareness day to day? Interestingly, clinical psychology and Tolle's spiritual teachings align on some very simple habits. Conscious breathing to anchor your nervous system, doing body scans to track physical sensations and keep you grounded in the now, and mindful walking to bring your attention entirely into your physical movement. These aren't just mystical exercises, they are scientifically proven methods to improve your cognitive function and regulate your emotions.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final provocative question. As you go about your day today, maybe you're scrolling on your phone or sitting in traffic, just ask yourself, are you blindly listening to the voice in your head, believing every single story it tells you? Or are you stepping back, becoming the silent watcher and just observing it? True peace comes the exact moment you realize you have that choice.